Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video in honor of college decision day, which is actually today at the time I'm recording this, May 1st. I thought I'd go over 10 things that you should do after you've committed to a college. So the hard part is done. You've narrowed your choices down and you picked one, but that doesn't mean that you have absolutely nothing left to do until you enter college in August or September. I want to go over some of those things that you need to do, and hopefully you realize something that you didn't think of before. Now, this first one, I'm not even going to include it as part of the 10 because they're so self-explanatory and I'm sure you've done it, but pay the admin fee and sign up for orientation. Both of these are usually required at every college, so you've probably already done it. But if you haven't, make sure you go log onto the portal, and there will be a fee that you need to pay in order to actually enroll in the college. And then orientation is also going to be super helpful in getting you familiar with the college itself and actually living there for a day. Unless they're doing it virtual this year, I'm actually not sure. Let me know in the comments if they are or not. And once you've gotten those out of the way, there really isn't much left in terms of strictly required things, but everything I'm about to say, I highly suggest still doing. The first one is going to be taking and sending your AP/IB test scores from senior year. I know a lot of people in their senior year decide not to take AP tests for whatever reason because, you know, senioritis, and I completely get that. I was there too. But I realized later that if your college offers credits for these classes, which chances are they do, it's worth it to just grind it out and take that one exam. And there's really no harm in it except for like losing 3 hours. Even if you just go in with barely studying, who knows, you might still get a 4 or 5 or something. And that credit that it gives you is going to be a lifesaver. Even if it doesn't directly apply to your major, it can give you some general education credits and allow you to just use that credit instead of having to take a whole nother 3 credit hour class on a gen ed. And trust me, college gen ed classes are not as easy as they sound. So just take any AP tests that give you credit, see what happens, and don't forget to send your scores in July if you do well. Speaking of classes, make sure you know what you're doing when it comes to class registration. Now if your high school was like mine, and I'm pretty sure most are like this, registration every semester was a breeze. Like, you pretty much knew exactly what you had to take and you didn't have to choose which professor to take it with, and the process itself was super simple. But in college, that is not the case. First of all, make sure you know when your registration date and time is. That'll probably be automatically assigned to you. And then yes, they will touch on how to register in orientation, but especially if you have a later orientation date, I would get a leap on it and research registration earlier than that, because it is a huge process and you want to make sure you get it right to get a good first semester. First of all, start looking at the classes that you need and the classes that you want to take, and then select a mix of both of those for classes that you want to sign up for in your first semester, but also select a lot of backups, because since you're a first year, you get like the lowest priority during registration, and chances are you're probably not going to get all the classes that you want. So take some time, research, because unlike high school, college has hundreds or even thousands of different courses that you can take, along with different requirements for every single major. So you got to look into that. And also, don't take the process of registering itself for granted. One false click and you could like not get into 1 or 2 or even more classes that you wanted to take. So make sure you know exactly what you have to do when your registration time comes, and get familiar with whatever portal or website it's on. And on that note, make sure you do a lot of research into majors and try to finalize an initial one. Now, initial is the key word there. Of course, you don't need to have a finalized major at the beginning of your freshman year. Like, there's a decent chance it'll change in the future. I changed mine at the middle of sophomore year, so you don't have to be 100% certain by any means, but having a good idea of one that you at least want to get started with is going to help a ton when it comes to registration and getting involved with clubs and everything along those lines. Or if you know like 2 or 3 that you're debating between, then definitely look at courses and clubs that overlap between them, and so you can get involved with those or take those courses in your first semester without risking any of that really going to waste if you don't end up choosing one major or the other. Next up, make sure you do your research into meal plans as well as housing. There's a decent chance you've probably chosen housing already, but in case you haven't, make sure you look at all the dorms and don't just jump to the one that's like the most popular one, because there's always going to be a ton of different choices and you might find one that you actually like better than the most commonly chosen one. And go through the housing application process for that as early as you can. And for meal plans, you're gonna need to eat the moment you step foot on the campus. So knowing which meal plan you want to get immediately as soon as you get to college, or even before you get there, is really important. My advice would be to try to overpay on the first semester, meaning take a meal plan that has more swipes or more meals than you think you need, and then feel it out the first semester, and you might actually use that much, but if you don't, then you can always downgrade in the next semester and the next year. Or even some schools have an option to like downgrade in the first 2 weeks for free. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to how often you're using the dining hall, and if it's not as much as you think, then downgrade. If you're going to UNC, I made a whole meal plan guide you can check out right there, but every school has quite a bit of options to do research on these. Speaking of housing, yes, go dorm shopping, but don't overdo it. And what I mean by that is, yes, by all means, get all the essential, your mattress toppers, your sheets, your pillows, your iPhone chargers, decorations, all that kind of stuff, but just don't get every little thing that you see that you think will be good for your dorm. I was sort of guilty of doing this last year, and I ended up barely using them half the time. Like, we had a drawer full of like random like plates and food stuff, and then some other things for decorations that we never used. And yeah, at the end of the day, our dorm would have been much cleaner if we just never bought those in the first place. But we did, and we have to deal with them all year. So make sure you get all the essentials that you're gonna need for your first week or so, and then in your first week, just think about what you're missing and what you don't really need anymore, and then rearrange your dorm based on that. Buy some new things if you do need them, and then you should be good. But make sure you do save some money, because throughout the year, random things will end up popping up, and you're gonna need to spend on those. Then just figure out your general logistics when it comes to going to college. Like, for example, transportation. Are you gonna bring a car? Are you not gonna bring a car? What public transportation options are there near your college? Bringing a car to college is not always allowed for freshmen, but if it is, it's usually expensive. Do you have enough to pay for all of that? What about all the other college expenses that you're gonna allot over time? Or on the larger scale, do you have a set payment method ready for tuition? Or do you have your financial aid settled? Or do you need to apply to a few more things? Fill out FAFSA, apply to scholarships, all of that kind of stuff. Just figure it out before you move in, so that once you get there, you're not surprised by anything, and you can spend more time actually enjoying college rather than dealing with some of that stuff. I'll have a video up later this summer talking about transportation and reasons why you should or shouldn't bring your car to college, but for now the basic answer really is just it depends. So assuming that you have housing set up, or you're going to very soon, you're going to be put into a suite group, in which chances are you're not going to know everyone in it, unless you just have like a super suite of like 8 of your friends, in which case that's awesome. But usually you'll only know your roommate, or even nobody in it at all. And so at that point, it's a good idea to create a little group chat with everyone in that suite. And as long as you guys live near campus, or you're able to all go to campus on the same day, meet up with them once before the year starts. It'll be a great way to get to know them a little bit, as well as to get to campus one more time before you start and explore it a bit more. I did this with my suite mates, I believe 2 weeks before the first day of class. I only knew my roommate, and so we met all 6 of the other guys. We walked around, or maybe snuck around, our dorm building a bit. We all got lunch together, so that way we sort of became friends already, and so when we all moved in, it wasn't really awkward at all, and it made those first few days a lot more fun. Obviously this isn't possible in a lot of instances, but if it is, go for it. It'll be worth it, because you're gonna be living with these guys every single day, and you don't want anything to be too awkward. The next thing is one that you may not really be thinking of, but it is to cancel all your memberships, put in your 2 weeks notice for a local job that you have, and just realize that you're moving away from one city to another for college. That may not always be the case, but most likely it is for you. And so everything that you've been paying for to use in that area, you're not going to need anymore. So think about that. I had to cancel my gym membership. I was taking like guitar lessons or something. I had to cancel those because it was only around here, and I couldn't volunteer anymore at this place that I was going to every like week or two. So just make sure people know that you're not going to be there much anymore, other than like holidays and some weekends and stuff like that, obviously. So it wouldn't be practical for you to keep any of those things, really. Which brings me into the last few points, which are more about adjusting to life at the new city and on your campus. First things first, set up your college email. Do this as soon as you can, which should be as soon as you put your administration fee in, or even before that. Usually you'll put in your regular Gmail or whatever when you apply, but once you actually get in, you're gonna have a whole different student email. Ours is through Outlook. I know some other colleges do it through different websites, but I did not realize how important it was to check this email until I really started my freshman year, because they sent me a bunch of emails even before the year started about setting up a few things, setting up Wi-Fi, buying my textbooks, and even a few housing reminders, and I just never saw all of them because I didn't bother to set up my email until classes started. So there should be a whole website dedicated to helping you figure out how to set up your email. Go through and do that, and make sure you have your email ready whenever you can, and check it periodically throughout June, July, and August. And to go along with that, start using campus free resources as soon as possible. I've said this before in a few videos, but the amount of free stuff you get or discounted stuff you get for just having a college student email is so much. Like, obviously the obvious one is $5 Spotify or Apple Music. If you're paying $10 now, switch to $5 as soon as you sign up for your email, and it should verify you and it should work. Or you can even use like LinkedIn Learning. That's free with the student email. All the Adobe products free with the student email. There's countless things you can do. There should be a website that lists most of the resources that you have. And even some shops that you go to or online stores that you buy have student discounts. So always keep that in mind. Even though you're not technically a student yet, if you have your email and account set up, it should count you as one. And then the last and final thing you should do during the summer before your freshman year is to enjoy it. Yes, I have seen far too many people who are going into college stressing over a million things that they have to do. And like I said, there are stuff that you should do, which I just went through. But at the same time, like, none of that is extremely time demanding, and not much of it is even boring either. So like the summer that you're gonna have the least stress for in a very long time. Like next summer, you're gonna have to start getting involved with clubs and even looking for more internships. Summer after that is like internship hunt season. And then summer after that, even more the same thing. So this is your summer to enjoy. Hang out with your high school buddies as much as you can, because you're almost likely going to split up once college starts, meaning like geographically, but also possibly like internally. It happens, it's normal. So unless you're doing something where you have to take a college class early that summer, or you're doing a program where you're going abroad somewhere, I wouldn't stress about finding something productive to do. You've already made it into college, and then once college starts, you can start that search again. Just take the summer off as much as you can and enjoy it. Enjoy actually living in the area for the last time. Enjoy having an actual private bathroom in your house before dorm life begins, and spend time with your family, all that good stuff. So I would love to go back to that summer right now, and you're about to enter it, so make sure you cherish it. All right, a little bit of a sappy ending there, but for real, just don't stress yourself too much over any of this, and appreciate not having a workload for 2 months. Alright, that is going to do it for this one. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I said, or if you have anything else to add to this. As always, let me know what video ideas you want to see next. Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like, drop a sub, and I will see you later. Thank you guys for all the support recently. Peace out.